Moving on to Liverpool.
Oh,
What's your thoughts on the Trent? For the last 10 minutes of the show, what's your thoughts on the Trent situation, Husam? Are you worried? You know, there's every day I see people say that the new deal is going to happen, and then it's covered. But another story says, you know, there are people circulating because it doesn't look like a deal is going to happen. What's your understanding, and do you think Trent's going to sign a new deal?
I'm not worried about the Trent situation whatsoever. I do think he'll sign a new contract. I've said from the beginning, I stick by it. I think Van Dijk's the one I'm worried about. I'm not worried about Trent. I think Mo and Allison will both sign deals. They'll both stay at the football club. I'm not worried about them either. Trent is probably going to stay at Liverpool. I understand the allure of Real Madrid, all that type of stuff, but he's a local boy. He's Scouse. You know, he's playing for the club that he loves. And when Van Dijk eventually moves on, whether it be like in the future or after his contract, Trent will probably be made captain of Liverpool Football Club. So I don't think he's going to Real Madrid. I mean, it was just announced, I swear, a week ago that Real Madrid, who was the player that they wanted that they couldn't sign due to FFP? But there was a player that they wanted that they couldn't sign due to FFP for some form of reason. So as well, they can't go all out mad in the transfer window. So yeah, I think with Trent, he's gonna sign a contract. He's gonna stay. I'm very positive on the Trent situation. I'm really not negative about it whatsoever. I think he's gonna play for Liverpool Football Club this season. Alisson will, Mo Salah will. It's just Van Dijk that I have doubts about. But I think they'll stay. And with
what about the super chat? Are you worried about?
Yeah.
Are you worried about?
Go back before we do the super chat. Can I do something
on.
about Trent? You know what? Sorry. You know, guys, what's worrying in the chat about this Husam speech about Trent? The every reason Husam mentioned about him being sure about Trent is that he's Scouse. This is his boyhood club. He never mentioned anything about the assurances of football, that the team is going forward. And I think this is the aspect that maybe Trent is worried about. Should he pin in a new contract with Liverpool without being sure about the future under Arne Slot? This is the thing that Husam never mentioned. And it's not a dig at Husam. It's just Husam is so sure that Trent's emotion will actually dictate his decision about signing a new contract. It's not about the football. It's not about the future. And it's not about Michael Edwards or Arne Slot convincing the guy that we're moving forward, we're winning trophies and all this stuff. And it goes back to the new manager with 1 year left of 3 of the top players. Can Husam stay here until Trent, baby, sign a new contract? We're moving into the right direction. Because I'm sure his loved ones around him are talking about the same. Should you give this manager a chance by staying 1 more year? Should you give this manager a chance by having a release clause? I'm sure the people around him are telling him this. Yes, it's your boyhood club, but what if Liverpool go down the rabbit hole of what happened to Man United? What Arsenal did with Arsene Wenger and Unai Emery? What happens to your future? Do you want to be another Steven Gerrard, where you don't win anything at Liverpool? You won the league and you stay 7 more years, and yes, you're the captain, but you don't win. Or you want to move to the Galacticos with the Mbappes and Vinny Jr. and win? That is the question that I want Husam to answer. Seriously.
I think you're looking at this very one-dimensionally. You're just looking at it from like, oh, you know, Real Madrid is coming in, so he must sign for them. That's not the case. I think Real Madrid are the most attractive club in the world. I've never denied that. And I think they could probably lure a lot of players out of their own football clubs. I'm simply talking about next season. I think he stays for next season minimum. And then after that, he might leave like next year. Everything that you say... I mean, let's also put into consideration Trent's age here. I mean, Trent is not like, 35 26. Years old. Yeah, Trent, don't add numbers into my guys.
Is he 25, 26? Okay.
25. Okay, he's 25. So next year, if everything you said happens, then he'll leave next summer if Arne Slot is a shit manager or whatever it is. I'm not denying that, but they're going to come back in for Trent anyway. Listen, Trent's the best right back in the world. They'll come back for him. So I think he'll give it a go this year. They'll see exactly where the club is headed, the ambition, the direction, all that type of shit. And then based on that, next summer, I think he'll make a decision. And even if he signs a contract, the club will get money for him anyway. So like, it's not like Real Madrid can't afford them. Like they can pay the money that he's worth to Liverpool, and he will eventually leave if everything you say happens. So I'm not in denial, Mo. I know where my club is at. I know the direction that we're in. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, this is way before it's like you're going way before shit actually happens, you know. So
I'm not
I'm just
expecting
waiting.
shit to happen. You know, me and you spoke about this. Arne Slot is the unknown. No one. Arne Slot might be a very good, might be Ange Postecoglou and very good. Arne Slot might turn Liverpool into 4th or 5th this season, right? You might not be great, and then Trent will look around and like, I signed a new contract. Where is the club heading? I signed up when I came up.
understand
There
that.
was
Yeah, I understand that.
there was
That's why I'm saying
Klopp.
he might
I'm
leave
not saying
next
Arne
summer.
Slot will
What
be
you're saying
bad,
is true.
but what if he signs a new contract and Liverpool asks for 150 million?
We
Unless
won't
there's a release
listen.
clause there.
You cannot. Real Madrid. Here's the thing, Mo. You know how transfers work. At the end of the day, if Trent really wants to leave, he can force his way out. He cannot attend training. He can do all the tricks in the book and eventually get his move. So, you know, they'll get. It might be a saga. What you say might be true. It might be like a 2-month thing where it's like every week, you know, Liverpool want 120 million.
Salah, remember
Madrid
Salah?
only willing to
Contract?
pay 70 million. All that shit. So. It might be a saga, but at the end of the day, I do expect him to stay, Mo. I do expect him to stay. That's
To
not
sign
my
a new
belief.
contract for 300k. When you
Yeah, he
300k,
deserves every
second highest
bit of
paid
that.
player.
300k for the best
It's-
right
it's-
back in the world. That's not much money. Yeah, he
I
deserves
mean,
it.
I agree with you on that. Mr. 16 out of 10 here. How are you doing? Well, bro. Thank you for the super chat as well. Very generous. He says Salah and Virgil are running their contracts down. They can F off if that's the case. Trent will leave on a free as well. We are finished as a club. We'll finish 7th next season behind the Manx and Chelsea. Husam, how is ketchup?
You know the problem. The reason why I struggle sometimes talking about Liverpool Football Club is because you get the extremes. You get the extremely negative like a Ryan, and then you get the extremely positive like a James in the chat or a Chilius or people like that who just always it's like either half glass half full or glass half empty. There is no it's just normal conversations. With Liverpool Football Club, I always look at my club and I say the glass is 50% water, 50% air. And I just state stuff factually and objectively. And to be honest with you, listen, I've gotten a whole lot of shit wrong when it comes to other football clubs and stuff. But with my own club, I've gotten shit right 99% of the time because I know how we operate, I know how we act, I know how we behave. So at the end of the day, listen, this is way, way, way too negative. I think the fact that we have Mo, Allison, Trent, Van Dijk, McAllister, all the good players that we have, we're probably going to finish in the top 4. So I'm not worried about that unless Arne Slot has done a completely shit job. And in reverse, I don't think we have enough to challenge for the title or win the title because of our lack of spending so far. But I hope that does change. I mean, they did say that, in August they will start spending money. So we will see what happens in the month of August. But there are players out there. There's plenty of players who can improve us, plenty of players who can make us better. If we have a good transfer window, then shit can change for us. That's what I'll say. But it's just this is way too like just we're shit and we're crap level type shit from Ryan, and I think this is just mental, to be honest with you.
Are you not worried that you haven't signed anybody, as per Joshua Jack's question here? Thank you.
Right now, I'm not worried. Right now, I'm not worried because I know we are looking to make business. I know we're looking to try sign players. There are options out there for us to sign. We'll probably make our first signing towards the end of this month, at the start of next month, maybe in that time. If it's like mid-August and we haven't signed anyone, that's probably when I'll lose my shit because I think we need players. We definitely need players. We cannot stand still as others improve around us because that's just a recipe for disaster, to be honest with you. I'm just being patient with my club. That's what they say, being patient with my club until the mid-August, and then after that, halas, that's when we all go crazy if we don't sign.
Mid-August season starts mid-August.
Mad. I will say this. I will say this, Sam. I don't agree that Liverpool are finished and it's over. They might play brilliant football next year. What I think's wrong is that as well as I do, you've got to start the season strong, season fast, winning those points. The fact you've brought in no one, it's ridiculous. It in terms of, and I'm judging it based on the standards that have been created at Liverpool over the last decade. Your standard in the league is winning it, and I don't think you've done enough business to win it. You're probably going to do enough to be able to make it into the top 4, as you said, and I completely agree with that. But I think it's absolutely reprehensible that they are not giving Arne Slot the best possible start by bringing in 2 or 3 of the targets that between him and the club they've agreed on, getting them in for pre-season, talking about we're going to start doing it in August when deals become more expensive as well, when the season's already kicked off. I just feel like it's a recipe. And when I say disaster, I'm not talking about finishing 7th and having a dreadful season. I'm talking
We
about
could finish 7th. I acknowledge that possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Anybody, probably barring City, could. But I just think it's
I'll
in
be honest
terms
with
of
you,
trying to
all
win the
eyes
league,
are
it's
on
wrong.
Hughes and Edwards right now. And this is the issue I have, and I've called out the club on this multiple times already. Look, one of the reasons, actually, Mo probably has the most white hairs from this conversation. Me and him have had 100 fights about this. One of the reasons that I just let go of the whole Slot thing is because we're saying Slot is a yes man, and we're going to make Edwards and Hughes make transfer decisions so the club can move forward. That's one of the things that made me okay, you know what? Michael Edwards is experienced in this. And what's his name? Richard Hughes, had Bournemouth's best transfer window. Oh my God, man. Had the best transfer window recently. Yes, I have. And we all know you're not Donna Cullen. I already know who this guy is, by the way. I made him send a voice note once after abusing all the YouTubers sexually, But what's it called? I hate the fact that we're waiting on quote unquote training ground reports to then decide to make which signings to make. And I understand people say, the manager, of course, has to get involved. But there's certain shit that the manager doesn't need to get involved with. I mean, Wataru Endo himself came out publicly and said, we need a DM. He is the fucking starting DM, and he's telling you, we need a DM. He said it with his own mouth. We need a starting DM. So we obviously need players. And this is the problem. Sometimes the worst thing in life is when you're a truth sayer, because there's people on either side that just can't stand you. Because someone like a Chilias will say, Husam, you're too negative. And then someone like Herrera will say, Husam, you're too positive. And you just can't fucking win. You just can't fucking win.
Yeah,
one of the things that makes me even more worried about anything is the fact that we haven't sold one of Dumb and Dumber. We aren't looking to move on from Robertson. So that's the shit that really worries me deep down. It's actually getting rid of certain players that worries me. Because if I was in the sporting director's shoes, first one I'd get out the door is Diaz. Second one I'd get through the door is Nunez. I'd get Robertson through the door. I'd try revamp players. And the issue I have is the following. There are players out there that no one else is interested in. Perfect example, Ederson, Atalanta, DM. Our price range, our age range, perfect player for us, experience, good player. 40 million euros is the reported price, so we're not going to overpay. He can come slot right into the team. It's exactly what we need, exactly what the doctor ordered. So, it's not like City are in for him. It's not like City are in for him or Madrid are in for him. It's just us. So that's the thing that I don't get, Just get certain players through the door. Safe. You need to understand something. Being humble in life is not called simping. All 3 panelists on the panel right now will tell you Madrid is the biggest club in Europe. That's not simping. That's just a fact. Don't do that, Terry.
Slightly bigger than Man United. That's all. Slightly.
Don't do that. They're the biggest club in Europe.
Yeah, marginally. It doesn't feel good when someone is shitting on your club illogically, does it, Husam? Agendas don't feel good, eh? Ha ha ha. Love though, bro. Big up the panel.
Godwell, I agree with you. 100%. Specifically given the fact that I shit on Chelsea illogically. Let me tell you how illogical I am. In the Todd Bowley ownership, the highest finish you've ever had is 6th. You proceeded to sack the manager. You've had 6 managers in the last 2 years. You've spent over $1 billion, and you haven't even had Champions League football yet. You haven't won a single trophy. This is your longest trophy drought under any manager in the entirety of the Todd Bowley era. Your best player is a City Academy player, and that's very telling. Your captain, your player, is a player that's always injury prone. You're starting right back. Your fans put up a banner of Conor Gallagher must stay or we riot, and that's the player that most of you guys want to sell. And I can go on and on and on with the shits that the Chelsea have done. All you're doing is signing a bunch of youngsters. By the way, according to the Athletic and reports, if you make 50% of your signings are good, it means you're actually running a successful model. If 50% of your signings are good. I'll use my own example, Godswell, my own club as an example, Godswell, so I don't cry. Yes, Salah and Mane were successful, but Ox, Keita, and others weren't successful. So if you have a 50% succession rate, that means you have actually succeeded. So all these Estevao, Paez, Guyu, Yo-Yo, Momo, Gogo, all these random players that you're going to sign, not all of them are going to succeed. some will be a complete waste of money, and that's just the reality of the situation. Short term, you have improved fuck all. That's the reality.
Aya here says, yes, Mo, I support a team with the most FA Cups, and guess what? It means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Champions League, yes, I agree, Terry, but no one considers a team. Sorry, considers a team a top team
with
just minor cups.
Yeah, that is my opinion as well.
But the FA Cup isn't a minor cup, though. It's a major cup. But again, I think maybe we're across
all
hairs
cups
here.
are major.
But if you're challenging for the league title and you're very, very close to it up against a brilliant City team, but you're picking up trophies, it just buys you more time with the wider fan base, with the media, and the pressures that come with that, I think. Boys, look, as ever, always a pleasure to sit and speak football with the two of you. To all of our